Testing, testing. This one's on. Yeah, mine is.
Mine's on now. Hello, in the event that anybody's watching, because this is the DPS Commission for Grosse Ile Township, our normal meeting night's the second Tuesday of the month, but because we had some bids being taken, we put our meeting off till tonight, Wednesday, June 21st. If you're watching, welcome to our meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. This is the DPS Commission, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, I'd like to call the roll. Kostick is here. Phil Kennedy, our vice chair, is not going to be here this evening. Les Schmidtke.
Present, sir.
Linda Stanko is excused from tonight's meeting. Ray Biddle.
Here.
Lenny Pedestris
Present.
is here. And our township treasurer, our liaison, Dave Nadeau, is excused for this evening's meeting. But we do have a quorum. I'll make a motion to approve tonight's agenda. So moved. Is there support? Biddle supported. Any changes? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the agenda is approved. We also have the minutes of our May meeting. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of our May meeting as submitted.
Second.
Moved and supported that the minutes be approved as distributed. Are there any comments? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Next, we have approval of the bills for the month of May. This involves the water, sewer, wastewater plant, refuse. I'll make a motion to approval of the bills. Is there support?
I'll support.
Biddle supports. Any comments?
No, sir.
Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Next, item number 7, we have a review of our statement of revenues and expenditures, which is for the second month of the fiscal year, the month of May. If there are no comments, we'll receive and file that. No comments?
No, sir.
Okay. Item number 8 is approval of the treasurer's report for the month of May.
I make a motion, we approve the treasurer's report.
I'll support it. Are there any comments? Hearing none, all in favor of approval of the treasurer's report indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Treasurer's report's approved. Presentation, we don't have any presentations tonight. Public comment, there's nobody in the audience. Wastewater treatment plant manager update. I guess Brian is not going to attend tonight.
Ryan wasn't able to attend tonight, but we can go over some of the wastewater treatment stuff under the engineering report.
Okay, great,
Okay.
great. So with that, our township manager is here, and we have 2 action items. The first is an award a contract for our concrete repair program. Derek.
Yeah, if there's a motion, I'll go into some detail on the proposal that was presented by GV Cement.
Motion.
So, okay, moved by Lenny and supported by Ray. I guess I should read it technically, but it's based upon the recommendation of the Township Engineers. The Grosse Ile Township Department of Public Services Commission hereby recommends to the Township Board an award of a contract to Monroe, got the wrong one. To recommends award of a contract to GV Cement Contracting Company for a total bid amount for concrete repair work of $989,950 plus a 10% contingency. Derek.
As you all recall from previous conversations, we have authorized a variety of different work, or recommended the authorization of a variety of different asphalt work over this construction season. We did want to do some concrete work with the recently passed road millage funding. So Raines put together a bid packet and advertised for not only concrete sectioning, but also joint work, which involves replacing 2 feet along a joint, basically 12 inches on either side of a concrete joint. So the proposal that was put out involved that type of work, both pad replacement and joint work. Unfortunately, we did only receive one bid. We did have, I think, 5 or 6 different individual companies that had picked up plans, but we did end up getting only the one bid, and that was from GV Cement. GV is a known contractor. The township's done work with them in the past and have been happy with their work. Also, Rains had gone back and checked the unit pricing compared to other contracts that they have been a part of during this construction season, and as their letter indicates, the rates that were proposed by GV are market rates, so they're not out of line, which is obviously the concern when we're dealing with a singular bid, that it might be way out of line, but they have confirmed that it is, those rates are market and are very competitive. So with that, there is a recommendation from the engineer that was included to award the contract to GV Cement. There is a list there of a variety of different roads that we plan on working on. We will have to, if approved by the Township Board on the 26th, go out and mark these sections out. We may not be able to get to all sections of all the roads that are listed here, but we're obviously going to try to go as far as we possibly can. I don't think the post office or the Macomb Street areas are indicated on this list, but I know that that was a priority of the DPS Commission, so we'll make sure that those get priority, when we take a look at the different projects and areas we're going to be doing this work. If it is approved by the Township Board and the DPS Commission has recommended its award, we will schedule a pre-construction meeting with the contractor to talk about what areas we're going to be working on and what the proposed schedule is. I know in talking with Chairman Kostick, there is a priority to make sure Grace Drive and any of those surrounding areas are done before school starts. So that will definitely be part of our conversation. But a pre-con normally will occur after award has happened. So we'll schedule that, assuming everything passes by you and the Township Board. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Before we go on, the one thing I'd like to say is that we talked about this when we bid the asphalt work. We got really good prices. And that's when the decision was made, let's go out and do as much concrete work as we can, so let's bid as much as we can. And I would guess, and you may have some insight to this, I would guess that's part of the reason why we just got one bid, because it's quite a volume of work, and most of these contractors already had their stuff lined up. Is that a fair statement?
That is an accurate assessment. That was one of the questions we asked the engineers. What are you hearing? What are we hearing from the vendors that didn't put in? And the majority of it was they had work in other communities that they were doing. Some of them had reached bonding capacity. Some of them just didn't have the availability of staff or equipment to do this work. Some of them also didn't want to get involved in some of the joint work. They prefer to do concrete pads and not get involved in the labor associated with jointing, which I think we've found to be successful within our community on some of these stretches of road. So they didn't bid because that part of the work was included. But as I mentioned earlier, GV is a known contractor that we've done work with in the past, and the rates that we got were good compared to the other rates that were passed along to other communities through other vendors for other similar type work. So I think that satisfied our concern that we just had gotten the one bid.
So with that, questions, Ray? Lenny?
No, it's very thorough.
Les?
Nope.
All right, with that then, you go to the Township Board next Monday night?
Correct, yes.
All had a chance to hear the recommendation. I'll make the motion for approval. Is there support?
Support.
Astros made the support. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay.
Thank you.
Next item is extensive amount of work at our wastewater treatment plant involving air handling systems, heating, cooling, and air handling, which is a big deal at the wastewater plant. So based upon the I'm going to read the resolution. Based upon the recommendation of the Township Engineers, the Grosse Ile Township Department of Public Services Commission hereby recommends to the Township Board and award of a contract to Monroe Plumbing and Heating for the installation of HVAC equipment at the Grosse Ile wastewater treatment plant at a price of $722,250 plus a 25% contingency. So the total authorization, if they use that whole contingency up, would be $902,812.50. Derek?
Yeah, this is a project we've been talking about for a long period of time. I'm happy to finally be able to present something to the DPS Commission that we feel will be a good project with a good project partner. Monroe Plumbing and Heating is a well-known vendor to us. They've done a lot of different work at the plant, so they're familiar with the plant as well. This project is a little bit different than your normal design bid type project. And normally in a design bid, the engineers will put together specifications like you saw on the roads project, and then a price will be put together, based upon specifications that were developed by the engineers. In this type of arrangement, which is a design build, it's more of a partnership between a contractor and the customer, and also the engineers are involved in that process. So that's why the larger contingency, in case there's some unforeseen conditions that may come up throughout the construction process, there's enough contingency to cover, those additional expenditures. I've listed a couple of those situations that could occur in the body of the history, purpose, and explanation. As they get into the plant, things like gas capacity for the new HVAC equipment. They might have to modify services to be able to accommodate the new HVAC needs. The larger weight of the units on the roof might require additional supporting of the roof structure to accommodate the difference in the unit type and design compared to what's there right now. And there's a variety of other items that could come up. I think a third one that's listed on there is the gas detection system. We might have to pivot a bit on the vendor for that. We have intentions on using some of the grant funding, that $3.5 million that we received recently, to fund this project. And there are some various federal requirements that are part of those funds. Buy American is one of the provisions. So any equipment that we install as part of this has to be sourced from the United States. There might be some provisions for Canadian suppliers, and we're trying to figure out exactly if that's going to be the case here, but there are a couple of different items here that are supplied through Canadian vendors. So that could end up resulting in higher costs. This is going to be a Davis-Bacon prevailing wage project, which is a requirement of the grant that we received. So that can potentially increase the cost, but that would have been factored into the price that they had submitted. So this is a full-blown project which will address both heating and air conditioning, but also ventilation and air exchange for the plant. The scope of work is listed within the attached information that you have. It's essential that we get this project moving because the lead time on a lot of the equipment that is part of this project actually puts us into the summer 2024 construction season, just because of the time it's going to take to get the stuff together and into the plant. So it's before you tonight for consideration. Once again, like the concrete work would be considered by the board on the 26th if you made a recommendation. In this situation also, there was only a single bid, but this is a bit of a unique project, and it's not for lack of reaching out to different vendors, but I think, once again, they had 5 or 6 plan holders, but only did end up receiving the one bid, but they're confident in the proposal that was put forth. I think the engineer's estimate on the project was $1 million, so we're actually below that, even with the contingency. So. Any questions with regards to the proposal?
Are there
I
any
got one.
questions?
Didn't we just approve not too long ago, HVAC for over there?
Yes, we did approve a small unit for the bathroom and office space.
Yeah, I think, expert,
Yes, but that was like a $7,000 standard furnace. This is a much more, obviously, expansive, complete plant system. So, if you recall, the heating system that they had over there was very antiquated. I think they had a wall heater they were using. That furnace that was installed a couple of years ago was just to carry them over to have heat in the office and the bathroom areas until we were able to get this project off the ground.
So Derek, this is going to cover all of the buildings then?
Correct, yeah. It'll cover the lab space, it'll cover the main building, and I believe there's some air exchange equipment that will be installed in the lower levels, and then also in the RBC room. So it's a very expansive HVAC system, yes. Because we not only have concerns over there with climate control, but also the exchange of air.
I mean, fumes and stuff like that. I mean,
Very
you know,
caustic environment, and being able to make sure that you have air movement and circulation is as critical as the heat or the air conditioning is.
This is in the lower levels. It's also, you talk about the three buildings, but it's also down in the staircases that go down to the wet well, some 40 feet. And it's not just heat and cooling. It's air exchange is a huge part of this, especially with the chemicals that we're using and so forth. And I would just add to this, Les, and it may have preceded you as well, but Ted Van Oz was chairman of the commission. Remember that, Les?
Yeah,
And we took bids on a proposal back then, and I'm guessing that was 10, 12 years ago. And the bids were over $500,000, and we're doing much more work. I think we've changed certainly what that was going to be. And this, I think I'm correct, all this air exchange equipment has been approved by the state of Michigan.
Yeah, there will be, Part 41 permits for all this, I believe, yeah.
So this has been going on a long time, and we've been piecing things together, and we need to move forward with this. So, you have any more comments?
I don't.
You have any more questions here at the table? Hearing none, I'll make the motion for approval. And Ray Biddle supported. If there are no further questions, all in favor of approval indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And there's no opposition, right? Unanimous.
done.
So it's unanimous. So with that, we have, I guess, John Keim is going to give us an update. John? Oh, I'm sorry, Derek.
No problem.
Water loss report. Okay.
My report and, and John's report this evening is actually probably going to be commingled a little bit because I've been stuck in the office quite a bit over the past couple of weeks, and we've had a lot going on in the field. So, I'll probably ask for John's support a little bit on giving you the most up-to-date information about field activities that are ongoing. But first and foremost, we do have the water loss report. For the month of March, 33%, and for the month of April, 25% is where we're at, which is not too uncommon for us to have, some higher loss numbers in the beginning of the summer before things start getting caught up with our billing cycle. But we did have a significant water loss with that water main rupture at the Meridian Road Bridge project, which I believe was in the beginning of April or the tail end of March. So I'm sure that added significantly to our water loss
Not
numbers.
only that, the spring flushing program.
Correct, that too. Yep. So, any questions on the water loss report? If there are no questions there, I want to go a little bit into the project update, which also like to touch base on the road paving work, which there was a separate schedule that was included in your packet that has that information on it, at least for the milling and the filling that we're doing. We're looking at rebidding possibly the sanitary sewer, remaining televising and cleaning work. So Raines is in the process of putting bidding documents together for that remaining work. With regards to the wastewater treatment plant projects, our primary and secondary sludge pumps are complete. We talked about the HVAC lab units and the additional HVAC work this evening. That'll go before the board on the 26th. Where we're at with the ACO work currently is that they're in the process of excavating the new final clarifier, so that work is on schedule and moving forward. We talked about the asset management plan at our last meeting. We had that presentation, if you recall. So that report has been submitted to Eagle, and we're just awaiting any comments that they might have. They're currently working on clarifier number 1. My understanding is they had pumped that down and they're cleaning it. So as Bill had mentioned previously, if there are any DPS commissioners that are interested in looking at that and viewing that tank, please get a hold of me and we can take you down there and show you what's going on there. So that's currently in the works. The VFDs, we do have all the contracts signed and everything. We're just waiting on that work to be started. Water asset management plan and water system reliability study. Chairman Costa had asked that those be added to the report at the last meeting, so those have been added, and I'm sure there'll be more detail following in the next couple of months with regards to those projects. On to our paving projects. This is where I'll probably ask John to step in a little bit. The schedule that was presented in your packet is probably actually out of date, even though we just recently received it, I think, a little less than a week ago. Where we're at currently is West River Road is, I believe, complete. Horse Mill, I believe, is complete. Church, west of Meridian, I believe, is complete. They have milled Bellevue, and they are in the process of surfacing Bellevue. They have milled East River Road between Parkway and Manchester. Are they on to paving that yet?
Base coat is down.
Base coat is down on that stretch of road, and now they're on to milling East River south of Grow. So they are moving very quickly and getting it done ahead of schedule. Once those stretches of road are complete, then we'll end up having the intersections completed. And for the most part, our mill and fill for the 2023 construction season will be complete. We'll move on to the concrete work that was authorized. I'm assuming the board approves it on the 26th. And we'll have to get together with that contractor to figure out what that construction schedule is going to be. The work on Park Lane, the paving of Park Lane, is scheduled to start the 26th of June. So because that's a different contractor that's not on this list. And then our crack and joint sealing work will likely start, I believe, on the 26th or thereabouts as well. And we've prioritized, I think, that work to some of the more centrally located residential roads within the community off of Meridian Island and those areas that have what appear to be good roads that are good candidates for crack sealing. So that's where we're at currently with the project list. I have not heard where we're at with the remainder of the chip sealing work. I'll have to hear back from the engineers. I know they were trying to track down the vendor for that to make sure that we were still on the schedule for July, but I don't have anything current to report on that. Do you have anything to add, John?
We have a call into him, he just hasn't given us a date yet.
Okay, all right.
Sorry.
And then I did have a phone call on Tuesday with Wayne County, the supervisor and myself, to talk about a variety of different items. One of the items that came up was the paving work on Meridian. Chairman Kostick had mentioned to bring up at that meeting if we could move that paving work up some, since a lot of Meridian is not currently being used with that bridge being closed, maybe pave a portion of that. They said they would look into trying to move that up. Where they currently have that scheduled is for the end of the project or near the end of the project, so they're looking at like September to do the paving work. So, but I know that school starts on the 6th, and one of our preferences was to have that done before school started, so we made sure they were aware of that, but currently it's on their schedule for September is when they would do that paving work. So,
Thank you.
yep. Are there any questions about the ongoing paving work? I think, John, you can speak for the interaction with the contractor, but I think that we've been pretty happy with the work that they've done.
Outstanding job. They're flying. They're way ahead of schedule. Derek actually had to put out a push notification to let everybody know, we said we're coming the second week of July. We're here and it's done.
Right,
So,
that's quick.
but we haven't had any complaints that anybody's saying,
Get it done now. Oh, yeah, it's,
And the quality of their paving work looks really good, too. I mean,
Outstanding.
Very smooth, where they've cut it into existing concrete and, things of that nature, so they've really done a good job.
We've been trying to monitor some of the additional areas, too, that we wanted to prioritize. John's been on on them and on track with them to make sure that everything's done the way we wanted to do it. For example, the curve right there at the end of East River Road all the way to Manchester, we wanted to make sure that that was finished up, coming back 50 feet into some of those side roads like off of Church on the west side.
And Bellevue.
The two dirt roads that were intersecting have been paved back 50 feet, and same with Bellevue. Those have been paved back, or they will be paved back 50 feet. And then also we've tried to push the limits a little bit on Church and Bellevue a little to make sure that we're edge to edge where we can be with regards to the paving. So I think we're getting the field crew and compliment to John that he's out there in the field making sure everything is done the way we prefer it to be done. And we will continue to do that, especially as it relates to intersections when we start doing those jobs. And I know Phil was particular, especially with some of the intersections, making sure we're butting up against the chip sealing limits that we established. So there's been a good attention to detail from the management, field management crew, and also our engineers to make sure we're getting a good product. So
Absolutely, everything that's been said is true. Any comment, Lenny?
No, like they said, all the transition points are phenomenal.
Les,
No?
traveled any of them?
Yeah, we went for a ride on Sunday, and I was amazed to see what was going on. Looks pretty good.
I've had at least 3 people call me to say, hey, the roads look great. They know that we've all worked hard on getting the millage approved, and so number 1, thanks to the voters. Going to make a big difference. Number 2, thanks to you, Derek and John, for keeping track of all that's going on and pushing everything. We do have a good contractor. The other day, maybe it was 2 days ago, I was driving down West River after it was paved, and a guy was out there standing, just looking at the road. Maybe he was putting out his trash, I don't know. But I just, no traffic, so I stopped and said, boy, isn't this pavement great? He said, oh, man, it's wonderful. So that's the reaction, and you probably had it too.
Oh, yeah.
So
Lots of them.
anyway, and the chip seal has really turned out nice. Once it hardens and once all the speculation about the loose stone goes away, it looks great. So now it's starting to make a lot of the other roads look bad that I could name. We'll worry about that for next year.
Do you think they'll be back to do Dallas?
Well, that's our plan.
that's the plan. Yeah. That's
Budgeted
we wanna try
the
to get
money
that
for it.
accomplished. Yep. So.
Any other comments about the roads? So that was supposed to be Derek's chance. You have anything else, Derek?
I don't. So I believe John probably does.
Yep, John.
We will be doing our lead and copper sampling. I spoke with Eagle today. They're on board with us with our new submittal for the lead and copper sampling plan. And so everybody will see me out there in your neighborhoods next few weeks. Thank you for your assistance on that. Appreciate your cooperation. That's all I have.
That's all you have? Okay. All right, well, the chairman's already spoken. We don't have any discussion items. Commissioners' comments. Ray?
I have none.
Lenny?
Yeah, just real quickly, I just want to mirror what everyone else has said. Every time you blink, they're on a different road out there, so they are ahead of schedule. They're doing a great job. The quality, I drove all the roads over the past couple of days. They're all coming out very nice, so we definitely appreciate everyone's efforts. And like you said, thanks to the voters.
And Les?
Question, is there a report on how the bridge is going on Meridian?
I do have a schedule. It appears that they are on schedule. I want to say the majority of the work should be completed by September, with restoration right in October, November timeframe. But I will forward you guys a copy of that schedule. I just received it from the county, I think on maybe yesterday, something like that. So, and that was, they passed it along primarily because of the question about the paving, which is listed.
They got the old bridge out.
Yeah, for the most part, yep.
Was it as bad as the Parkway Bridge?
No, that bridge was built like a tank. I mean, it was, the comments I got from some of from the Toby crew that was out there was that they hadn't seen a bridge like that in a long time that was constructed that way. It was steel, there were steel beams encased in concrete. So, I mean, it was a pretty heavy-duty structure, so, I'm not an engineer, so I can't speak to the reasons why it needed to be demoed. I'm sure it failed in a variety of different, points, but, when you looked at it, it took a real job to pull that thing out of there just because of the construction type. And I know it's an old adage, but they don't build them like they used to, and that thing was built heavy duty, very heavy duty, so.
The only other thing I have is, I would like to see every month, I know we get it once in a while, we got everybody's name, address, and telephone number on it. Could we put that in the packet every month? Just that extra sheet?
The commissioners or,
Yeah, you would, you come in squares and you had like Costick and Lenny. and-
Yeah, the contact list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh,
contact
sure,
list.
yeah.
Maybe it needs to be updated.
Yeah, that's no problem. Yep,
Yeah, because we have two new members sitting here
sure, yep,
that aren't on it.
yep.
We'll update the list. You don't want it in the packet every month, do you?
That would be nice, because if you want to go call somebody, you look at your old packet.
Oh,
Yep, we can get that to you.
okay.
Yep,
Or you can call Bill, he can give you the numbers.
I got,
That's on speed dial.
Yeah, even Bill's number's changed. The number I have for him, no longer in service.
that was a long time ago, Les. Anyway,
That's all I have.
all right. Any comments from the audience? Any more from you, John?
No,
Derek?
sir, thank you.
With that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
I will second my friend.
All in favor, get by saying aye.
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.